Hey y'all, so today we're gonna edit this little cute baby. Right now we're in the library module and we're gonna switch over to the develop. So all you do is while you're in Lightroom, you're gonna click on develop to actually edit the image. And then from here, you can see all the stuff that we can do. You can do all that fun stuff. There's way more at the bottom. But for now, let's focus on the exposure. So you can either do one of two things. You can pull it, like I'm pulling it up here, or you can pull it down there. See how when I pulled it, the exposure is kind of highlighted and it was moving towards the way that I was pulling it. So you can do that basically to everything that's right there in the basic panel. On up there in the little box on your histogram. Okay, so now all I'm going to check is the skin tone, and I hover over it and I just look at where my exposure is. So basically see how it says RGB. I want my R's to be kind of around the 85-ish range, so that looks good. And then from there I like to bring down the warmth just a bit because it does look a little overly warm. And then we're gonna go into our saturation. We're gonna go to hue and we're just gonna play with that and see what we can do to make that that blanket back into being white, because right now it looks a little bit orangey and a little bit green. It might not look like it right now, but it's definitely there. And so now I'm manipulating the oranges. You can do this however you like. So if you feel like baby's perfect, then leave baby as is. But if you feel like you need to change some stuff, then try out hue and saturation. If I keep doing the little snorting, sorry, I have a runny nose. Okay, so then you're going to bring in the whites. I like doing this. You don't have to do this, but I just want it to be lined up perfectly. See how like it wasn't and now it is. Click on the little triangle to see where it's affecting those whites. If it's something like not that important, like this blanket, then I will just kind of clip it just so the skin tone's better, and then I'll bring it back with the brush. But I'm just seeing how far I can go. And see, now it's basically like everywhere. Okay, so right there we can see that, you know, those are pretty white, but look at his skin tone, it's getting like a little bit flat, and that's that problem is because I was shooting it straight on with natural light, so it's kind of a flat image. There's not a lot, but like I said, I went into the brush and I brushed it down. I had my exposure down by 0.51, and then my highlights down by -64. My saturation is up even though it shouldn't be. And then my contrast is up even though it shouldn't be. And then I'm just brushing it on, just trying to make sure that we get rid of all those little red marks where it's like trying to tell us like, hey, this is pure white. Yeah. So now here I'm just bringing it down in the background, bringing the highlights down all the way, seeing if that helps. And then if you click on show selected mask overlay, you'll see wherever you brushed it on. I like doing that just to make sure that I didn't brush it on the baby. And then you can go in and erase it. There's an eraser part right there. And then we're going to go back into editing. So let's close that out. And then sharpening, I like putting it at the second one, so at 50, and then I like adding masking at 50. And then I just go in and look at the details and try to see if, you know, maybe I should lessen it, maybe I should keep it high. It just depends on, you know, every subject is different, and sometimes some lenses shoot sharper, sorry, than others. So it just really depends. So from here we're going to just double check skin tone, and we're going to double check all the colors and everything before exporting it into Lightroom and saying we're okay with it. So let's go and see his skin. Okay, it's a little on the orangey side, but when you zoom out, it looks a little green. So what we're gonna do is we're going to change this up a bit. And we're making the highlights a little bit more blue. And then bringing down the saturation and trying to see where a good middle point is. And there's another way to do this, and I think this will work out better, is you can take down the yellows, but keep in mind if your photo has a lot of yellows in it, don't do this because it will desaturate all yellows. Since I shoot all in white, I know what colors my studio items are, so I do like removing the yellows. Keep in mind also that skin tone has yellow, so you might be depleting some people from skin tones. So let's just see our before and after. So we went from there to here, and that's a pretty dramatic difference. So yeah, I mean, he looks a lot brighter, it looks more lively, and yeah, I mean, that's really dark. So yeah, that one versus that one, I mean, honestly, and this is just in Lightroom. Wait until we get into Photoshop. Okay, so now we're exporting. I go up and click File, Export, and then where I export to is a specific folder. That way I can find it easily, and I always export to my desktop. And then so I will name this Baby Jesus Newborn. That's his name. So yeah, just put it in a subfolder. And then file naming, I just leave it as is. You can add this, I just don't care really. It's a lot more work. So I keep the quality at 100, color space RGB, and then the image format is a JPEG. I resize to fit, I don't have it checked. Output sharpening, don't have it. Metadata, the copyright only. You can add whatever you want. Watermarks, you know, no watermarks. Post-processing, after export, do nothing. And then you can do whatever you like with it. Like if you wanted it to open in, you know, Photoshop, then you can. But I don't like it to do anything. I want to do it all on my own. So I export that one file, and then it's going to show me up here what it's doing. And then that should be it. Okay, so here's a little bonus. Let's say that I wanted to apply this to every single one of my images. I would select copy, like command copy or control copy. Make sure everything is highlighted, unless you wanted some stuff not to be highlighted, like, I don't know, like specific brush stuff that you did. But if it's like a similar image, just leave the brush stuff. And then you're going to click copy or press enter, and then you can go to the next one and then just paste and see how it's like, it's identical. Oh my gosh, it's identical. And you just save yourself a bunch of time. So it's awesome. I love doing this just to batch edit basically. And then see how, remember we did the brush thing, but now it's on the baby, so we can go and pull it back. See how like now it's right there, and then for some reason it's not allowing me to do it, but yeah, you get the point. So we're gonna, okay, now let me show you how to erase it. So let's erase it off his little skin. So we could just have it on the blanket, and there you go. And you could just add a little bit more if you wanted to, like right there where the little hot spots are. But see, now you just save yourself from like doing all the color editing. You're just doing those little spots with the brightness. And then here you can click that off. That's what I was talking about with the brushes. And then click copy and then paste, and then you can go in and like do the brushes on individually. And then some images, obviously, see that this one is like too bright. Well, it's a different lighting scenario, so it's not going to work exactly the same. And so you just kind of you play with it a little bit. It's not going to work every single time, but for the majority of your edits, if they're in the same location, same angle, same everything, then it's going to work. And yeah, that's it.